How long does it actually take to sell your house? Now, hello everybody, I'm Sophia, and today I'll show you a simple data-driven way to estimate how fast your unit could move using something called the take-up ratio. Now, take-up ratio helps you understand what are the market conditions for your specific development, and it's as simple as this. Now, the first thing I want you to do is hop onto some of the main property portals and see how many listings there are for your specific unit type. So if you have a 2-bedroom, look at the 2 bedrooms. Now, the next thing I want you to do is take that number and divide it by the average number of units that are moving over the past few months. So usually I might take 3 to 6 months as a gauge. So let me give you an example. Let's say there are 20 listings in your development, and on average over the past few months, there are about 5 units that sell for your type. This means that roughly it would take 4 months for your unit. But knowing the take-up ratio is just the first step, and what you really want to know is what I should be doing based on this number. So let me show you exactly how to interpret it based on 4 common market categories, each with its own recommended selling strategy. For developments that are in category 1, you have very high supply but a lower demand. So this leads to a slow take-up ratio. So take for example something like 2 bedrooms at Normanton Park. Currently there are about 220 listings and 3 units move per month. So this gives you a score of 73, which could mean a very long selling time. What should you do in this case? Go aggressive and direct on the marketing. Now, what do I mean by that? So instead of having your listing there, you're waiting for the right buyer to go through hundreds of other listings, maybe miss yours, maybe inquire on yours, you don't know. What you want to do is bring your listing directly to the buyer instead and have a more aggressive approach rather than passively waiting. And how you can do that is through things like targeted marketing. So let's say, for example, when you shop for a pair of shoes, maybe the next day you see the ad again, you want to do the same thing with your listing. So somebody that is already shopping for listings at Normanton Park will get the ad that is targeted. In this case, you want to stand out fast, or you can risk being on the market for many months. Moving on to category 2, where you have high supply and high demand. So in developments like this, take-up ratio is fast, but competition is also high. So take something like 100 Palms. Now, MOP in December, and about a month or two ago for 3 bedrooms, there are about 40 plus to 50 listings, and on average 11 to 12 units sell per month. So this gives you a take-up ratio of 4 to 5, which is fairly fast. So what should your selling strategy be in this case? You need to prioritize visibility and urgency. Now, why do I say that? Of course, for developments that just TOP or MOP, there's a hype. Everyone wants in, but a lot of buyers also have this mentality where they want to compare and view all the units available before they make an offer. Now, very often by the time they get to that point, in the mind is already buyer's fatigue, or they've forgotten about your unit. So the goal is to get your unit seen first. And how do you do that? By having a competitive starting price. Now, this doesn't mean sell low, but your starting price needs to be attractive to get the traffic in and create that urgency. Now, if you price too high at the start, you are effectively helping everybody else sell first before the buyer comes to your unit. So for category 2, you need to get the traffic in and your unit seen first, and make the buyer feel like if they view everything else, by the time it's too late and they would have missed out on a good deal. Next, we have category 3, which is low supply but high demand. So this is the dream scenario, right? Where you have fast take-up rate but very little competition. So take for example Panorama's 3 bedrooms. Right now there are 6 listings, and on average 2 units are sold per month. So this gives you a take-up ratio of 3, which is very healthy. Now, selling strategy in this case is to justify the value and premium for your unit, because you have the advantage of being in a sweet spot with the high demand and low competition. You can position your unit as the premium option, but you need to do it smart. So show your buyer the value of your unit. For example, in your whole development, there are only 60 3-bedroom units, but for your layout, there are only 10. It is even more rare. Or if you're really near popular schools, or show your buyer what is the exit strategy here. Who is buying into the area in the future? They need to see the resale potential to make them feel safe about buying here. They already want to. They just need to ease their concerns about paying a little bit more. Lastly, we have category 4, which is low supply and low demand. Now, this category can be quite misleading because the take-up ratio number often looks low, like it can sell fast, but in reality is due to a lack of transactions and data. So let me give you an example. This is usually for older leasehold condos. So say Loyang Valley that was built in the 1980s. Right now there are about 5 to 6 3-bedroom listings, and in 2025 there have been no transactions, but in 2024 about 2 to 3. So technically the take-up ratio would be 0 to a very low number, but in reality it can actually take quite long to sell. So your selling strategy here is hyper-targeted marketing as well as creating an emotional pull. Now what do I mean by this? The reason why such units already have low visibility is because very little buyers are eligible and the demand pool is already smaller. For example, younger buyers are unlikely to be able to buy it because the bank may not give a full loan due to the age. So who is actually buying into this kind of units are usually older, cash-rich buyers that are looking to buy for their own stay rather than a short-term flip. So in this case, creating that feeling when they walk into the home, like they can imagine staying there, is very important. And you can do that doing things like staging, even for your viewing, very small things like turning on the aircon, turning on all the lights, making sure your unit smells good, open the windows is crucial. You'll be surprised how often this doesn't happen. In this kind of buyer, the small touches really makes a difference. And because there are already so few buyers that are eligible, you want to make sure that you curate and treasure every viewing that you have in order to move your unit faster. So as you can see, not all slow markets are the same, and not all fast-moving projects guarantee a fast sale. Knowing which category your property falls under helps you to tailor your pricing, your marketing, your expectations, so you don't just list it there and hope for the best. You're being intentional and smart about it. Now, if you found this video helpful, give it a like and subscribe for more insights like this. And if you require any analysis to understand where your property stands, you're welcome to reach out to me at the listed contacts, and I'll catch y'all in the next video.